So then we had Tommy Dreamer saying that he's in the ring with all of his EV2 dorks, and he said, first off, this whole thing is so stupid, I can't even believe I'm saying it here. He said, this is true, isn't it?
Yes. He said, Rob, you have not returned our calls, our emails, our texts, or our tweets.
Yeah.
Now, listen, everyone. I know, well, obviously everyone on this spends a lot of time at their computer and on the internet and online and stuff. And I know a lot of you may communicate via tweet with your friends. None of you are old wrestlers.
That's not even the weirdest thing. To me, it's like, one day, Whitney, who is now my wife, she was on the islands doing something for school. And she said that she was going for a walk. And then incommunicado for like 3 hours. And it was dark. And she'd been walking alone on the beach. And so this was quite distressing for me.
I recall this day.
You remember this day?
I do remember this day.
This day sucked. This was actually the day after I was frantically calling her mother that I think her mother decided it's okay for these two to get married. He does, in fact, love this woman. But anyway, so it ended up that there was like a... the place she was staying in a trailer type deal on these people's property. A very long story. But anyway, they'd invited her in for dinner, and she hadn't brought in her phone. So that's why she was incommunicado for these 3 hours. But anyway, the point was, here I am thinking that she's been kidnapped. Okay? High on the list of things that I thought to do to communicate her, tweeting her was not one of them. Tommy Dreamer can't find Rob Van Dam, and so he's thinking, maybe if I send him a tweet, maybe I will contact him on Twitter. This was stupid.
So
it gets better.
And as you pointed out, yes.
So, yes, he cannot find this man. They've been trying frantically to find Rob Van Dam. He perhaps has been walking on the beach for 3 hours and disappeared. So they try to phone call him, no answer. They try to email him, he does not respond. They try to send him a text message on his phone, no response. Finally, they tweet, nothing. So they come out here on Impact, and after all of these problems, Tommy Dreamer says, Rob Van Dam, will you please come out? At which point, he comes out.
Yes.
What?
So they did not, in fact, need the latest technology. They did not need the internet. They did not need the airwaves. All they needed to do was go, hey, Rob! And he would come out.
Not to mention the fact that you didn't find him backstage. You were there all fucking day. Where was Rob? He comes out. We have our usual Dreamer melodramatic promo. He says what happened last week with Sabu was an accident. RVD says, I don't know who I can trust anymore. At which point the fans go, how sad.
Yeah, they were.
This is the only reaction to this segment, by the way. They are dead silent throughout.
So the gimmick here is that Rob is paranoid. So Raven steps up and says, you smoke too much weed.
That's what he said.
Which is funny.
Yeah.
Because that's a side effect, I've been told. And he then announced that Eric Bischoff is a genius like myself.
Now that is something you want to take credit for. I am as much of a genius as Eric
as
Bischoff.
Smart as Eric Bischoff.
Yeah.
So Fortune finally interrupted. Ric Flair talked for a while. He booked Rob Van Dam and Raven as a team versus Kazarian and AJ Styles. This pissed off Doug Williams.
Yeah, you're missing the key to this segment. That being that there are two factions, EV2 and Fortune. They are both, as of this segment, fighting with each other.
Yes. So, yes, this pissed off Doug Williams for no discernible reason. They went to commercial. They came back. Fortune was backstage bickering. Doug was not fitting in. They made fun of him for being English and assorted things. And
he was mad because he wanted to wrestle.
Yeah, so Flair said, okay, you can wrestle. And he took Kaz out of the match and put Doug in. And everyone was happy.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So then we had Raven and RVD against AJ and Doug Williams. RVD sold forever.
Okay. First of all, you're remembering the finish here.
Yes.
Raven came out first. The heels jumped him. They were beating him up. RVD comes out. He is making his big entrance to the pyro. He is slowly walking in the ring as Raven is being double teamed. That's part of the story, so that's not necessarily stupid. But he gets there, he makes a save, and Raven doesn't care.
No.
He's over it already.
Yeah.
So they do the match. They're wrestling. Ric Flair sneaks down to ringside. He attacks Raven. He hit him with the belt, I believe.
He hit him with the Legends title.
And he leaves Raven lying on the floor.
In dead man's position.
In dead man's position, bleeding from the head.
Sprawled out, hands and legs splayed, dead on the ground.
Right. So, they have the heat on Rob. He's beaten and beaten and beaten. He fights back. He goes to make the tag, and he sees Raven on the floor. And he says, and again, this is a quote, "What are you doing?"
What the heck are you doing over there?
What are you doing over there?
That's what he said. Yes. What the heck are you doing over there?
The announcers then claimed, well, he didn't see Ric Flair lay Raven out. What do you expect him to think? Apparently, in Rob's situation, we are supposed to assume that Raven has decided in the middle of this match to lay down on the arena floor and take a nap.
I figured that Raven just thought that he'd passed out.
Or perhaps he may have overdosed.
Yeah. RVD thought he just passed out in the middle of the match.
Regardless, there's no explanation other than to assume Raven had deliberately betrayed him.
Yes, of course.
So Rob was beaten
To
up.
Rob, Raven decided he was going to just go lay down. He was going to go take a nap on the floor.
I am going
Spread eagled.
I'm going to leave you high and dry and render myself prone.
I'm not going to walk to the back.
No.
Not going to turn on you. I'm going to go lay on the ground.
I'm not going to take one of these nice comfy seats in this arena. No. I'm going to lay on the hard, cold concrete floor.
Sure.
So Rob Van Dam's...
No, there's more. I am not going to walk to the back. I'm not going to betray you. I'm not going to take a seat in the front row. I'm going to go lay on the hard, cold cement floor in spread eagle position and cut my head open.
Yes, I'm also going to bleed.
Yeah. He must be betraying me here.
So the lesson of this match is Rob Van Dam is the dumbest man on earth. That's the story they told.
And then Raven got pinned, or RVD got pinned.
He was eventually double teamed and pinned. And they yelled at each other or something.
There's a lot of yelling here.
Raven just threw his hands up and walked away. What a moron, he said.